Hello, it's Lisa from Lisa Loves channel doing a review for you today for Geek Legion of Doom. Today I'm going to review for you an independent drama comedy movie by the name of Lars the Emo Kid. Before I get into this, I'll give you just a little bit of detail. This one was directed by Joe Grassafi. There are a few stars of this, but I'm just going to give you the main star, who's actually also responsible for writing this movie, which I was very surprised given his young age, and that's Paxton Gilmore. He plays Lars the Emo Kid. So, what's this movie about? This movie is about what it says it's about. It's about an emo kid. I was drawn to reviewing this one because if I were a teenager now, I would most likely be an emo. I grew up as a rocker / goth, so this sort of subculture is something that was very familiar to me. I have a lot of friends in this subculture, so it just struck me as something that would be good for me to watch and review, something that would suit my tastes. So, what did I think of this one? So let's give you a little bit of a synopsis as to what the story's about here. This follows Lars, who's like a troubled young teenager at school. There's problems at home, his parents aren't getting along, they're possibly going to divorce one another. He's lost his best friend has committed suicide, and he's not really dealing with that very well at all. Coupled with that, he's bullied at school quite badly by the jocks of the school, that the fit baseball, American football players. They tease him mercilessly, they physically bully him, they push him down, they throw things over him, they belittle him at every opportunity, and his life pretty much sucks. Now that sounds like something really, really depressing, and I feel this movie does do a really, really good job at putting across what young people deal with today. It covers all kinds of topics. It covers self-harm, it covers depression, it covers dealing with death, it covers suicide, it covers divorce. There's an awful lot of issues that face an awful lot of young people today. It deals with. Now, it sounds very depressing. It sounds like, oh, what's this story about? Lars actually falls in with a group of alternative types. A group of 2 lads, 2 girls, and he initially is quite wary of this because he's not used to being treated well, he's used to being picked on, he's used to people using him for their own devices, and he's initially very wary about these people. But he does fall into a friendship with them and sort of finds a place to belong, finds somewhere to be him, albeit it takes him a while to trust these people. It follows their attempts to befriend him, their social group, and him sort of recovering a bit from a lot of what's going on in his life. So that's the basic premise of the story. There's no great massive story arc. I read a review that said nothing happens. It's a drama, it's a comedy, and it deals with a young lad's life. It deals with how he copes with all these different things that befall him, none of which are out of the reach of imagination. They happen to a lot of young people. And I really enjoyed this movie. I felt it very sympathetically portrayed what these young people go through, what drives them to self-harm. Although I will say that's not covered in a lot of detail. The film does try to keep quite a light edge on things. I know that sounds strange. It is very poignant in places, it's deep. It really gets you inside the head of Lars and what he's going through. It makes you feel affection for these outcasts, these rejects, of which I was one back in the day. But it also, it's got a lightness, it's got a humour to it. It is darkly funny in places, and it's sweet in places. It kind of opens your eyes, and I would like to think, I know this one was shown at a lot of universities, and I think that's a very good idea. I actually believe this one should be shown in high schools. It's a really important message for young people about the inclusion of everyone and about accepting people that are different and about the bravery that it takes to be different. I really, really liked the message here. It's not preachy, it's not, oh yeah, the different kids are all really cool and the kids are the same as everyone else are really, evil and sheep. It doesn't do that at all. There's different aspects of how a girl actually questions Lars, and I thought it was quite interesting at one point in the movie, and she loves him, she's in love with him, he has no idea. She's actually the ex-girlfriend of his best friend that passed away, and she said to him, is it that you're different from everyone else, or is it that you just don't want to be the same as everyone else and you're determined to be different even if that's not who you are? So it does question that mentality of wanting to be different, and are you that way? Are you doing this for a status thing? Are you doing that because that's who you are? It questions a lot of that sort of stuff, and I found it very interesting. The acting performances here are spot on from everyone involved. As I say, I grew up in a sort of group like that, sort of not the norm of society, and it got the interaction between those kids spot on. It got the obsession that people of an alternative lifestyle have with music, where the first time the group meet Lars, they're, what about this band? What about that band? What about this band? And they're listing off all these really like alternative emo bands that a lot of people won't have heard of, but I have. And it was really funny. It was like really like depressing sounding names that other people would be thinking, that band does not exist, but oh yes they do. And they're trying to connect through music, and that is what people like this do. That is what I did. You feel an affinity when you know that a group of people, that person likes this band that you like, that no one else knows who they are, and it got that across spot on. The interaction, the accepting nature of people like this that they usually have. I'm from this lifestyle, albeit an earlier version of it. It wasn't referred to as emo back in the day, it was referred to as goth or I don't know, cyberpunk or metaler or rocker, whatever that may be, whatever box you want to put it into. I related a lot to this, and this portrayed an awful lot of what that friendship grouping is like. Spot on. I can't say anything negative about this movie because there isn't anything negative for me to say. If you want to watch something that's really fast paced and loads of things happening, this is not the movie for you. But if you want to watch a independent, deep, meaningful, realistic portrayal of what it is to grow up as a teenager in this time, if you are on the cusp of what's normal in society, if you're someone that feels like you don't fit in, if you're dealing with a lot of problems at home, at school, just personally, this film represents that. I felt excellently, and it does that without going down the route of being really morbid and depressing. Not to say there aren't moments in this movie that are really sad. There are. There are moments that I'm sure many young people that have been through this will relate to, and it will sadden them. But there's also that other side of the fun, of bringing the lightness into it, of showing the fun side of things, of showing that people like this aren't miserable all the time. They may wear black, they may look a bit scary, the boys may even wear makeup sometimes, but these people are just like any other group of young kids. They're just different in the style of things they like, how they dress, but it does an excellent job at portraying that, I felt. So I would recommend this for anyone that likes to watch just a good character play, likes to watch something that's accurately represented. Anyone from an alternative background I feel would enjoy this. I feel it's something that should be shown at schools for young people to watch, to give them an understanding as to that weirdo in the corner that they don't quite get. This movie does a really good job of explaining that kind of person to everyone else, and that's coming from someone that was one of those kind of people. So yeah, spot on from me. If I had to score this one out of 10, taking into context what type of movie this is, and not putting it up against movies of a different genre that are really fast paced, I have to give this one a 9 out of 10. I thought with the subject matter and what it was dealing with and what it was representing, I felt it did an absolutely excellent job. I do also have to mention, sorry I forgot, the soundtrack to this is excellent. There's a German song that's played at the start of this film, and I could not find out what it was. Most people won't speak German, I do. And the lyrics of this were so apt for the actual movie, and I just thought it just was really interesting. Maybe because this is going to be played to young people in schools and universities that are, that learn foreign language. Maybe that's why they made the choice, but I loved the choice of intro song to this movie. I thought it was just such a brave, different, unique choice. And also there are other bands through this, rock type band, punk type bands. Awesome. The soundtrack just was right up my street. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, have you seen this one as yet? If you haven't, I do recommend you give it a shot if that sort of alternative subculture thing is up your street. It is very, very good. If you're a younger viewer of the channel, if you're someone sort of below the age of, let's say, 25, I'm not, give this a watch. If you're someone at school, give this a watch. It'll maybe open your eyes and have you understand something that maybe previously you didn't. So yeah, it's thumbs up from me for Lars the Emo Kid. Let me know what you think in the comments. Does it sound like something you would enjoy, or have you seen it? Look forward to speaking to you next time.